Hey there, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tenora, your DIY Blueprint Diva, and I'm finally ready to show you all the finished faux fireplace. I've only been working on this for about 2 years, so if you're new here, you picked the perfect video to start with. So stay tuned to see how I turn this bare living room wall into a faux fireplace wall. Like always, I started off with a sketch, and this one just happened to be a hand sketch of the fireplace and kind of what I had in my head. How I wanted it to look, the height, the depth, how wide I wanted it, where I wanted the actual mantle to go. So this was a starting point of where I would take all of those measurements. Once I knew how wide I wanted the fireplace to be, I knew I needed to relocate my bracket to the next set of studs just to make sure that it was going to be centered on the wall, because previously I had centered the bracket or the TV based on my windows on the opposite wall and not the room itself. A tip that I found very useful is actually locating the edge of the stud as well as the center, and then I drill like little pilot holes in the drywall until I reach the stud, and that way I know that I'm hitting exactly in the center, especially with these big bolts that I'm using for the bracket. Once I had all of my measurements down pat, I went ahead and put this in SketchUp just to give me more accuracy on my measurements, and it would help with the cut list and basically what I needed to build. I went ahead and cut all of my boards at one time. I started off with the anchor boards, which were 1x6s that were going on the wall for the frame to attach to, which is made out of the 2x4s here. And now it was time to start assembling. I started with the bottom half of the frame first, where the actual insert was going to be, because I wanted to make sure that I had that opening wide enough for the insert. leave my quarter round and trim on the wall and not make it look built in. I did use the shiplap to build around the baseboard, but just in case I need to remove this at any point, and I just put some spare wood on the bottom to make sure it had the support needed. Now that the bottom frame was pretty much put together, I was ready to attach the shiplap. Being I used real wood instead of the MDF, this was so hard. I had no idea it was going to be this hard. For one, the wood was hard itself. There was no give. I had a hard time getting it to line up. So if you're going to try this, I would suggest using the MDF because it has more give to it and it'll probably line up a lot better. So let's pause here. See those holes? They totally did not work. Those were supposed to be for the TV cords to go in the back of, and as you can see, there's an anchor board right in the way. And not only is the anchor board in the way, the frame is actually completely covering the bottom hole too, which is supposed to go to the outlet. And y'all know this is all sped up, so I spent probably about a good 2 minutes thinking about how I was going to do this because I didn't want to keep moving the mantle back and forth in the garage, so I decided to go ahead and just drill a new hole here. And this wasn't the only one I needed to drill because I still needed the one in the bottom, so I did that on the right side where it was out the way, and it actually ended up being a better location. In case anyone is wondering, I will have a part 2 to this video showing how I built the mantle because that's a video all in itself. But being as though I made it a completely separate piece, that means that my entire fireplace is 2 separate parts. The upper half of the frame is not how I originally designed it because I wanted it to be a smaller profile, so instead of framing it out in a box, I actually just did the 2x4s up against the anchor pieces. I've received a few questions on Instagram where people have asked me if I had an outlet behind my TV or, you know, where the bottom frame of the fireplace is, and I do not. That's why I have this surge protector, which will be for the insert itself, the TV, my PS4, and I just drilled a hole in the side of the shiplap to go into the wall. I was not about to move an outlet for this project. This was actually the last, I guess, major thing that I had to do before I started the final touches of getting all the holes filled, getting it repainted, and just looking fresh. So it was smooth sailing after this. Okay, so here is the corners that I was debating on sanding, right? So I would have had to fill in all of this and sand it down, which at the end of the day, I just don't think I was ready to do all of that. So I am going to do the corner trim, and this is what it looks like. As always, guys, thanks again for tuning in to another DIY Blueprint Diva video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications so you know when I post the next video. Until next time, bye guys.